Hi friends, I'm going to paint for you tonight. This is one of my 6 by 18 inch Centurion panels. I've really had fun with them. You know, I just kind of love this panoramic view. I can see you're shaking around a little bit. Sorry about having it off to one side. You know, there's no other way that I really think to do it so you can see the whole canvas. If I've got you in front of it, you're only seeing a piece of it. So I will put you in front of it though when we're finished. Though I don't necessarily expect to be finished tonight, but we'll get a start on it. This is what we're doing. This is an image I took last week when we were out camping. I took it from a stop sign looking across the intersection. There's a pretty cool barn there that I'm cropping off on the left, but I chose to include that barn in the silo. So, you know, it's always kind of a tricky decision what to include and what not to include. I actually did one painting already of it. I did kind of this. I did the scene off to the left. I did that on an 8 by 10. I should have carried it in to show you. But I think I like this. So I'm not sure. There's a telephone pole right in front that I'm probably not going to include. See, that runs off the... I don't plan to include that. I do like the other one probably. So we'll figure it out as we go along. You know, I was digging through and stocking my palette here, and looking at all the colors I have in my box that I never use. And I'm just carrying them around, and the tubes get nastier and gnarlier all the time. You know, I have a whole bunch of... You know what I might do is I was thinking I might take them out of there. We might just one night try painting with them, you know. Here's something called ice green. So I've got, you know, I've got Terra Rosa, so that could be a red. Purple, the ice green. That one, I don't even know what it is. The name is worn off. Of course, like burnt sienna, got sap green. So maybe we'll try that one night. This will be our palette, whatever the heck it is. we'll try to do a painting. I thought that sounded kind of fun. So, all right, let's get going here. I did go camping last week, and I was hoping to paint for you, but it was like 100 degrees. And I did do a couple paintings outside, but they weren't plein air, and I wasn't set up. I had to paint from life before I could record. I was painting from an image on my phone when I painted. So did a couple paintings and then painted out yesterday. It was really pretty out. All right, so we'll use our paintbrush, and we're going to look at our photo down here and use that, you know, see where the tree line hits in relation to the canvas. And, you know, I may not exactly have this correct, you know what I mean? It may not exactly be 3 times as long as it is high. I may not have that correct, but we'll see. The little road starts about there and ends really almost center. Kind of curves back. Let's see where the height of it is. The first crest of it's fairly low. It goes kind of off over a hill, kind of about there. Kind of curves up, kind of, and then you see it go off just a little bit. It kind of curves and then kind of disappears back in there. Okay. Second line of trees are a little higher. There's a distant row of trees way back in here. Yeah, we painted out yesterday, and it was supposed to be really, really hot yesterday. And I'll tell you, it wasn't bad at all. I got under a big shade tree. That's so helpful. And there was a breeze. So it was really very enjoyable. painted at a farm market. I should have carried it in to show you. It was fairly complicated what I took on. Distant barn, racks with plants, and but it came out pretty good. Like I said, I got the little barn over here running off. Which, you know, we'll see if we want to include it even. This tree's a little more sparse. We're kind of, you know, doing a value sketch. So I don't necessarily expect to get this done tonight. Some of what I see here I can't really explain. It's kind of a shed. Let's see how far out the house goes. About there, I think. I think I might have told you I did get some frames for these canvases from Frankenframe. I like Frankenframe, F-R-A-N-K-E-N. They're out of Tennessee, custom frames. But if you look in their clearance molding, sometimes, you know, you can get a pretty good deal and not have to pay a fortune. All right, as this goes, little grassy area, and we'll of course cool this distant little row of trees so it recedes back in there. The one group that I paint with, it won't be until like March, but we do a theme show. And she just announced the theme, and it's service. It's people that do a service for you. So it's really just about anything. You could paint the figure, paint a person. You can paint any objects they use to provide the service. So it could be a still life or a building. I mean, it's a nice theme. It's just a wide open theme. So I have a nephew by marriage that is a fireman. So I'm planning on, someone asked him for me, he said okay, going up and photographing him in his full gear and painting him. So that should be fun. You can see a little bit of the front of this house. And we'll be zooming in on this too so we can see everything better. I think there's a bit of a chimney right there. Yeah, it was incredibly hot camping. We ran our air conditioner inside most of the time. But we were outside actually quite a bit because there was a breeze. And one night we had a real severe storm. But our little camper did great. We barely moved. I saw one camper lost their awning though. This is the roof up here. So even though there's a lot going on in this painting, this house is really precious and red. Part of it's red, which is nice. But I want to figure out a way to keep your eye moving across here, you know, so you don't. It's tricky, you know, you hear people talk about focal points and what's your focal point, and some people believe you can have more than one focal point, which I do too. I think most of it's about eye movement and not having things that pull your eye off of the canvas. You know, like this little building, if I include it, which I haven't decided, you know, I'm going to want to really gray it down, and I would not want this bright right on the edge like that. So you want to think about things like that, and I don't want to pull your eye over there, you know what I mean? All right, so this little, all right, let's see what we're doing here. That may not be low enough. We'll see. And this little barn runs way over here. And the end of it, it's about like that. I like these farms that run across the road. I mean, when they bought the farm, was the road there? You wonder. Sometimes I don't think so. Let me zoom in here a little bit, see what I'm seeing. See, I'm seeing part of a building behind this building. I don't know if I want to include that or not. So, you know, that's what you got to decide. What do you want to include and what do you want to leave out? These are kind of a round silo. The one's kind of tucked behind that telephone pole, but I assume they're pretty much the same. Little metal. You know, we got the yellow stripe down the road. And again, there's a telephone pole right here. And there is one here, which might be good as long as I don't want to run it like all the way off. I could stop it right there because I kind of like the wire running across. So we'll have to think about it, you know. Might kind of keep your eye moving. There's some guide wires here. All right, before we move any further, I'm going to look at my values here and see if I've got what I want. Like I said, I don't expect we'll get this done tonight. That's okay. In front of the house here, there's lots of little trees. That's a pine tree there. zoom in on these little silo things. See how my proportions feel. There's even some kind of little top on them. A little door. And this one is bigger. Now that I'm a little closer, I can see that. And it has even a little window on it right there. All right, we're going to wash our brush and think about just trying to get a block in here, and that's probably as far as we'll get tonight. All right, and I could go over the pink and suggest a value for the grass. You could do that if you wanted, but I want to make sure in the end I've got some of that pink showing, so I'd rather just leave it, I think. So let's go in there and pick out some of the lightest lights that we see. Part of the house is white and part of it is red. Sunday I'm doing there's a garden tour in a city not too far from me, and the group I paint with on Tuesday, we agreed to set up different places, so I'm at someone's home, private home, from 2 to 5, so hoping the weather's good. They didn't say anything about bringing some paintings, but I may take some little paintings with me. Never pass up an opportunity to sell, right? Okay, I'm doing a little scraping because I'm trying to keep this nice, and I want it to feel sunlit, so I don't really, not that I can't come back to this. I, of course, can come back and brighten it up. See, I can't even really see what's below. I kind of just suggested 1 window and 2 windows. The bushes are very high. It actually kind of looks to be like a door and a window. I don't know that it matters. I can always change it if I don't like it. This roof over here isn't, it's rusty and light, so we'll throw some light into it. And then part of this porch that's sticking out is fairly light. May not feel that way, but all right, let's think about the red that's we're seeing there. I'm going to take my cad red light, and I'm going to try some of my crimson, because it's not a real warm red, but it is sunlit. So we'll play around, throw a little yellow in it. But again, it's my world, so it can be whatever I want it to be. Not a commission, so And, you know, you got to consider that we've got orange behind it, so it's going to be a wow for you. Really get the sense of what it looks like. I'm going to paint over that shadow area. I did use some of that color, but I threw in some crimson and some blue. This part of the roof is actually in shadow. I think we can use some of that same color for the front of the building. All right, the roof on the old house, it's kind of, you know, kind of a neutral color. I think what we'll do is just, we're going to put some white into this dark mixture that we had. Again, it's hard to even see what we're seeing right there, but just some kind of little gray shed building. Zooming in on it, looking around a little bit. Well, let's move on, because again, we're just trying to do a block in here. I'm looking at the silos. They're a variety of color. Just try to paint what we see. We were under a storm warning, but or watch or something, but we never got any rain. I actually was hoping we'd get some. Water my flowers, you know. Not far from here they got it. Mother Nature, right? Ain't nobody controlling her. It's terrible what's happening out by Vegas. The water drying up, and I heard Hoover Dam's not, it's below the pumps or something. Terrible. They said that provides like 30% of the water for Las Vegas. Scary, isn't it? World always changing. Been a lot of stuff going on. I can't really see all of this silo. It's behind the pole. I'm taking a little bit of my cobalt, which is my warmer blue, and put a little white in it. You know, I feel like these would be, there'd be some sky reflection in these. Okay, this roof is higher than this one. Again, this is mostly a block-in, so lots of changes will come. This barn is gray, typical. So we'll take some of all three primaries, make a green, put some red in there, some white. Darkening it up for the front. So I got back into the lighter stuff, but it's an old barn, so you know, and again, this is just over here we've got just the edge of a barn, which I haven't then decided if I'm going to include it, but for now we'll block it in for now. it's blocking some of these trees back here. And we could do the sky first, whatever your preference is. I don't think it matters. I think we'll mix some ultramarine blue and some Indian yellow. That makes that really deep, transparent green. Let's put a little red in it. And we'll just block in the darkest greens where we see them with that. And that little house is going to be my focal point if there is, you know, so I'm putting that dark around it so it pops a little more. Bottom of this tree is very dark. Someone sent me an article on the water mixable oils. You know, I've been using them for years and years, and one thing they said was they thought they dried quicker. Maybe, I don't know. I still treat them like traditional oils, and I still give them the time they need. I go, you know, I touch them when they feel dry to the touch, then I spray them with retouch. But to put a permanent varnish on them, I would still give them, and they do agree with that, you want to give them maybe 6 months for a permanent varnish. I just added some yellow to this at this point. Lighten it up a little bit, make it. When we come in with our sky color, we'll create some sky holes in here. I have found for myself a lot of times I'll have a painting I think pretty much done, and then I'll come in, especially with plein air, I'll come in later on and just brighten some things up. I think it can really improve it. A lot of times with plein air you end up darker than you intended. That's probably too light down in there. These distant trees, I'm going cooler and lighter. I want them to feel like they're back there. Pine tree, so I'm going bluer with it too. We'll see though. I mean, until you get something down, you don't know if it's wrong, so you got to put something down. Heard someone say it's only wrong if you leave it. But how can you know? Right? So don't beat yourself up. This is dark down in there. I'm just playing around, get some different greens going here. That's one advantage with mixing them. You end up with a variety of greens. Or if you use like all sap green for all your greens, you might not. Like I said, I took on quite a complicated scene yesterday. I think of what helped me is I took enough time on the sketch before I started, though. I've really tried to slow down in that respect, so you know, I know where I'm going. I think we'll go ahead and throw some sky color in, clean our brush, and it could be whatever I wanted. You know, the other night after the storm we were camping, the sky was yellow. I was looking at it through all the, you know, poking through all the sky holes, through the trees. It was very yellow. It was really pretty. I don't know that I've ever painted a yellow sky, but I see people do it. I mean, I think it, you know, you would do it for a certain mood. But I think we're going to do our usual, which is ultramarine and white. You know, we could keep it very dark. It isn't very dark in my photo, and I don't have a lot of. We could warm it up a little and lighten it up a little bit as it comes down into there, but I don't have a lot of sky showing, is what I was trying to say. So I just did a landscape here. I just finished it up, but I had a lot of sky showing, so I went from I went lighter as I came down, and I warmed it up a little bit too. And we don't want to, again, I don't want to wipe out all my orange. When I go painting, I don't take a purse, of course, to keep track of it. I take my license and my Visa card and a little money and put it in my painting bag. So that was yesterday. I was out, so I went to the grocery today with no license, no Visa card, because I didn't get it back out of the bag. I had to call my husband up. I did have a checkbook, but they wouldn't take my check without my license. Oh, I knew as soon as it was time to pay, it's like, oh no, I don't have my credit card. It's the first time I've done that. I'm usually pretty good about remembering to get it out of there. But you gotta take a little money just in case you wanna shop, you know. Some of the locations we go to, you know, the one place they sell soap to keep yourself in business, so I bought soap the one week. Pretty solid tree over here, not much, no sky holes, but could have if you wanted. I don't know if you follow Roger Bansamir. He used to have a PBS series. Maybe he does in your area. I don't find him anymore, but I took a workshop from him once. But he's mostly an acrylic painter, but he, God, he's so good at sky holes. He lives down in St. Augustine now. Fun to meet some of these people, you know, like when I took the workshop with Mark Boges, you know, it's like meeting celebrities sometimes. When he showed up, he was standing out. I was inside the building. It's like, is that him? I'm sure they don't think of themselves that way, but you know, and you could even run this color down over this row of trees to even pull them back more so. Let's try a little bit of that. You know, it would cool them and lighten them and pull them back even more. You know, we can always come back the other way if it doesn't work. That is way too intense there. See, I'm not even noticing that barn there right now, which is fine. And I'm going to want to put in some limbs and stuff up here. That's why I did the sky holes down in there. I don't know how much to see. We've been at it almost an hour. I think what we'll do is put the road in. And I tend to keep that warm. We may not do the whole thing that way, we'll see. And again, you're not going to be able to judge this really well till you get all this color in next to it. Doing a little dry brush, and as you can see, leaving some of the pink. I can always, you know, I can always take more of it away. But once it's gone, it's gone. That's, well, if I let it dry. And this little part of the road, I'm going to cool it off a little bit. Curves around. And this is all green grass. Like I said, we got a couple telephone poles. And again, we may put a lot more color on here. I can do that. And I have a yellow stripe in the middle of the road, which will, I'm sure, will add. I'll darken it just in the middle a little bit. Looking to see if I got this right. Kind of curves out a little more. I think we'll quit there for tonight. Got a long way to go. We'll be zooming in and kind of analyzing these buildings as we go along. Not that they have to be perfect, but like I see some distant telephone poles that might improve it. I'll show you the picture again. Oh goodness, we just lost it. That happened quick. I touched something. My husband always does if I let him near my computer. All right, so let me show you what I'm talking about. There's some poles even back in there on each side of the road. So, you know, I'll have to decide what's important. Like I said, if I include this pole, I will not do it running off the bottom and the top. But I do kind of like that one and the guide wires. So, see, there's some weird shed thing there, which I didn't really explain. It doesn't matter. It's a little roof. And we got the piece of the barn there. It may or may not stay. There's another building behind this barn, which I decided not to include. So, lots and lots of work yet to do. I'm feeling like the shape of this is a little off. And we, it looks like obviously the light's coming this way, so, okay. This barn and this photo look like the light's hitting here. But see, that's got me rethinking that. If the light's hitting here, the light should be hitting here. One thing I do sometimes too at the end of the painting, I will mix up some orange, and I go around and put a little glow on things. Just kind of hit a lot of things with a warm light. So, all right, I think I'm going to quit there for tonight. I think I had enough. Let me stand up and show you what we got. Sorry I couldn't really put you in front. It's just this long canvas that just doesn't work. All right. So there you are with our bright pink foreground. Just too soon to really judge. But I think it's got some possibilities. I think it's cute. See how the house is catching your eye, which I really like, the nice light. So again, this is going to all be green with poles and wires, and this feels too flat, even though I do have some other colors in there. But oh, it's just way early, so don't judge it yet. But I think it's fun, and I think it's got, you know, good possibilities. So thanks for joining me, and like and subscribe, you know, if you haven't done that yet. And I appreciate those of you that have, and keep checking in on me. All right. Watch for me. Like I said, I'll try to leave it alone and come back, and we'll keep working on it together. So, all right. You have a nice night. Bye-bye.